What's up, Madisonites? I sure hope that your week is off to a great start and that you are looking forward to what's coming your way this week, that you're ready for the challenges and ready to apply some of the things that we've talked about this week in your daily walk. You know, yesterday we wrapped up our study, and what an awesome study it was, from the book of Joshua in chapter 23 and 24. And, you know, in that great final address that Joshua gives us, he's really helping them see how important God's presence with them has been. He talks to them about how God was with them when they came out of Egypt and they crossed the Red Sea, and he was with them even in the wilderness, making provisions for them and taking care of them. And then when Joshua took over and his leadership led them into the land, God brought them the conquest on the east of the Jordan, and then as they crossed over, Jericho, Ai, and then all the other cities fell as a result of God's presence being with the children of Israel. And so he's reminding them of that. He's helping them see with their own eyes that God has been with them all the way. And he's saying this as a spiritual mentor, hoping to pass along this faith to the next generation. And so, you know, ultimately, as he reveals to them all of that history, he's kind of setting the stage for it. It's kind of a crazy thing to say. Well, choose this day whom you're going to serve. I mean, this is the God who's done all these things in your life. If you're not going to follow him, then the other options are the gods of the Amorites or the gods of the people across the Jordan. I mean, and both of those, this God, our God, obliterated. And so he says, choose this day whom you will serve, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Brought me to the, thought that each of us are going to have to choose today who we're going to serve. We're going to choose to serve God today, or we're going to choose to follow something else. And so Joshua, in his final words, he gives a few points. He says, first of all, choose to see God. And that's how he brought them back through their history so they could see exactly what all that God had done. And I think it's important for us in our family to point out to our children, when you see God at work, when you see how God has provided for us, implant that faithful thought in them to help them see that God is faithful to be there for us and to help us through tough times. But then we also have to choose to put away idolatry. And you may think to yourself, well, I don't have that kind of problem. But as we noted yesterday, there are lots of ways that we can put things in front of our devotion to God. We can have some selfish pursuits, whether it be financial or whether it be business oriented or status. We can choose to pour all of our resources into our kids' development, to developing into super athletes or any other extracurricular thing that you can think of. And we will pour so much time and energy into those things that becomes our passion, that becomes our drive. And it stands in the way of us giving our full devotion to God. That can be an idol. So we need to be careful of that. Every one of us have to evaluate for ourselves. The other thing that I want to mention, this is our action step this week, is choose accountability. You know, when Joshua was talking to the people and he said, hey, I want you to follow God. And they were like, we want to follow God. And he says, well, I'm not sure you can because you're still hanging on to idols. You got to put those things away. And they said, no, we want to serve God. We want to listen to his voice. And so Joshua said, okay, great. Let's write it down. So he writes down the words that are being said, the covenant that they're making with God, their promise to be obedient and faithful to him. And there's a big stone erected that was supposed to be a reminder to them of, and as a witness of the covenant that was made, that each of us had to follow through on the things that we promised that we would do. Well, man, what a great thing for us to think about. What do we want to be spiritually, as we continue to grow and mature? Like, what does that look like? What does it mean in our biblical intake, our spiritual, nourishment? What are we taking in, whether it be through God's word or whether it be through reading and challenging ourselves to grow in our thought processes, but also for us to pray to God. What are our prayer habits going to be? What are some things that we're going to do to help define spirituality and moving to the next level in our faith development? Put those things down on paper. Write it down, what you hope to be, how you hope to be changed as a result of God working in your life. And then put some things in place to let God work on you a little bit, to help you put priorities in place and help you to be strong and courageous in the middle of all that. Ultimately, when we do that, Joshua says, choose to leave a legacy. Joshua, it says that not only the people of his time were faithful, but also the elders, those who outlived him and went on, were also found faithful in their service to God. That's leaving a legacy, passing on your faith to someone else. So I hope this week you'll choose accountability. Write some things down, encourage yourself to follow through, and let it be a witness so everyone in your family can see the direction you're heading in your life. That's what it means to choose this day whom you will serve. I hope you'll do that. Hope you have a great week. We're praying for you. We love you guys. Look forward to seeing you on Wednesday and Sunday. Have a great one.